Still working. It does say 26 million and it's building it. Wow. Okay. That's pretty impressive. I've become a VR convert now after trying out this sculpting program from ShapeLab. So I'm going to show you how nice it is to use by doing a playful sculpt while showing you some of the functionality of the program. The big question is, can it replace Blender as my sculpting program of choice? Well, let's take a closer look. Now, it is important from the start to say that this video is sponsored by ShapeLab, but as always, I won't promote programs or products that I don't personally use or see a real use for my audience. These are still my real opinions, experiences, and feedback regarding the software. And you'll see throughout the video that I do really like this program. Okay, so I'm in a new scene and I've got my two controllers just here, as you can see. Looks like my hand's shaking a little bit, but I assure you I haven't been drinking. It's amazing how it picks up every tiny little movement. So you can see all my menus on my left-hand side and all the brushes and things, and you can actually point the right-hand side controller at these brushes and press the trigger button and choose them all. I always start off with the move tool, so we'll start there. And you can see on my right-hand trigger here, I've got my brushes to either side, so I can change and scroll through each of the brushes like that. So it's a really intuitive way of doing things. So let's start sculpting some sort of beast. Now, always before I start sculpting, I like to bring in some reference images so we can go to our menu over here and down to add image. And I've got some images that I downloaded from places like ArtStation and Pinterest, which are really great sort of creature sculpts or 2D drawings that I'd like to have a look at. So I'll choose this one, load it in. What I would like is to be able to load in lots of images at once, but we can easily do it one by one. Go to my scale just here and grab the edge and scale it in. And then I can position this nice and easily up the top here. That looks like a good position. Let's bring in another one. Move that one next to it so I can position all these images all over the place in this 3D world. I'll bring in one more, I think. Now you can see how I can select each of these and select back to my sphere. And if I pull down on my controller, I can go back to my sculpting tools and then start sculpting this around. I can undo quite easily and redo by side to side buttons. First of all, I'll bring up the symmetry. That's always helpful. And I seem to be slightly off center there. Not that it matters because you can just move around your object like this. It's really strange just being able to move it around in such a way. Got my grab tool. Let's make the brush really big and let's sculpt out a weird sort of face down here. I'll bring that up slightly. Oh, this is great fun, isn't it? So something like this, maybe comes in like this, has some sort of funny, I don't know what the heck that is, but just let's make some weird creature shape. And just see how easy this is to just pull things around, make some weird, I don't know what I'm making, but some sort of beast. It's great fun. So it's got some strange cranium like this, bring my brush down, pull out a bit like this. Oh, it looks like I'm not in the middle there. That's the classic. Bring this down. And if I hold the trigger with my left button, I can then just smooth that out. And the smoothing out actually does a sort of retopologize as well to your sort of base topology scale, I suppose, or resolution, we might call it. So I've got some sort of, I'm not doing a great job here, but let's bring the mouse up. Mouse controller, whatever it's called. There we go. And it's got some sort of chest there. There we go. So I've got some sort of shape here, some sort of neck, smooth out a bit. And just straight away, I've got this really cool looking starting point for this beast. Let's move in a little bit more. So I'm zooming it out by holding the triggers and moving in like this. It's just so intuitive and so much fun sculpting in this way. Sort of a hippo person at the moment now. I'm not sure I want him to be a hippo person. Let's figure out where the eyes are going to go. So I'll bring this down and probably have some eyes somewhere around here. Maybe like this. No, I'm not sure actually. Maybe they need to be higher up. Let's bring them up like this. Now it looks like a hippo. What have I done? Made a hippo again. Everything's just looking like a hippo at the moment. Let's bring that in there. Bring some funny eyes. A bit smaller there. And you can it's just so quick and simple, isn't it? I absolutely love it. All right, let's bring that. So we've got some sort of nose like this. And this is all just with the grab brush. And oh, it really is a pleasure to just be able to move around so easily. And it's very intuitive. That's the big word I'm going to use a lot, I suppose. But it is lovely. Let's go to a different brush now. We want to try out different things. So let's try the standard brush there. And then we can probably make that a bit smaller and have some sort of ribbed head like this. And you can reverse the brush with this button down here. You can see me pressing that, hopefully. And then dig in. Oh, I didn't reverse it. Let's undo that. Dig in somewhere around here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, to be honest. He's got some funny sort of face like this. Now, if you're interested in ShapeLab, then here's the pricing structure. You have subscription or perpetual licenses. With the perpetual license, you get updates till the end of the year, or the monthly, which you can cancel anytime. If you already bought ShapeLab, you can get the 2024 upgrade automatically and updates till the end of the year. There's currently a 20% discount off the perpetual license for a limited time. Check out the link for more info on that. And they also have educational licenses for educational institutions that you can apply for. Also new to ShapeLab 2024 is the option of being able to use a desktop version. So you could refine your sculpts that bit further using your pen tablet, and it's just a really helpful addition. Ferocious beast, something like this, bit of smoothing out there. Well, I've smoothed out the nose a bit. I'll undo that actually. And can I undo that enough? Yeah, there we go. And bring that down a little bit, smooth out there, I think. And the mouth can go in that area. See, we're starting to get there with this sort of beast. I like the fact that you can use either trigger of, it's not the trigger actually, it's the other button underneath, but of either controller to move it around. So you can move it around and sculpt over here and just sort of be moving around and pulling around at the same time as moving around, which is just crazy. But it means you can really go quite quickly through things, which I do enjoy, especially once you get used to it. I'm only a few hours in to practicing with this, and already starting to see why it could be so beneficial to sculpt in this way. So he's going to have a little bit more balance there, a bit of a neck muscle. Maybe we'll have a bit of a shoulder joint here. Smooth out a bit to retopologize and get some more topology. I say retopologize. I suppose it is retopologizing in a way, but it's just sort of figuring out the mesh, isn't it? Back muscles, deltoid sort of thing. He's now quite a big beast. Let's zoom out a bit and see what we've got. Actually, I'm sort of starting to think maybe the eyes could be right out here. Oh, that's the thing about this. You can have so much fun just pulling things around, experimenting. I think I want the eyes to be a bit smaller, so it's like a colossal beast. So let's make this a bit bigger. Somewhere around here. Smooth out a little bit. Now let's get my standard brush, negative standard brush, and sculpt that in. So there's a cavity for the eyes. A bit more of a, reverse that brush. Undo. Reverse that brush. A bit more of a eyebrows. Oh yeah. Oh, there's pressure sensitivity as well. If I open up the brush menus, you've got some pressure sensitivity there, so I can be a little bit more subtle. Smooth that out. Smooth out, and then get the. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's try some other brushes. So we got obviously got pinch. That's a really nice one, isn't it? So we can pinch this together like so. Give it some rigidity, if that's the right word. I'm not sure it is really, but there we go. Just pinching away. Some rigidness down here, perhaps, and smooth that out. Maybe some across here as well, smooth it out a bit. And then I can reverse the brush to get the pinch in there and pinch it in, something under here, pinch it in there. And it's just waving my arms around it. I don't know, it's hard to explain how much enjoyment you can get from not having to have a pen. Obviously, when it comes to the finer detail, I think that might get a bit more tricky. But these sort of base shapes, just getting some fun shapes in here and just waving your arm around like magic. Oh, it's just crazy to think this is possible. So we got probably gone overboard with those ridges. Need a mouth in there, really, don't I? So let's zoom in and get some mouth. Let's try this clay brush now. Let's see. Oh, it's got a square base. So I think, yeah, I can change it here, clay, and have an elongated base like this. Let's create an area and smooth that out. That's better. Right, let's start with I always usually start with the pinch or the crease. It's not pinch. Yeah, it's the crease. Pinch is reverse of the crease. So let's get a crease in there and down like this. A solemn expression, let's say. That looks cool. Change the brush to the pinch and then highlight this area across here and down here. Probably don't give myself enough space. That looks horrendously weird, doesn't it? Let's move some of this around. My smooth is probably doing a bit too much now. So if I go to the actual smooth brush, let's see, we've got a resolution there. You can up the resolution. So I'm assuming now when I smooth out, yeah, it's less blocky. So that's quite clever, isn't it? I do love these things. Right, back to the move brush. I can scroll through the brushes this way with this controller here as well, but I'm still learning which is which, so I have to look down at my menus and figure that one out. And undo. You can tell I'm not quite sure of the controls still, and still learning what's going on. But you can imagine, once you get used to this, that this is just brilliant. I mean, you can probably tell how much I'm enjoying myself, but it's hard to describe because sculpting can be painful at times, but this makes it quite joyful. I suppose it's the intuitiveness of it, that it's just nice and easy. It does what you'd expect it to do. So I'm sort of creating this nose here. I don't know, it's hard, like I said, it's hard to put into words, but it is really good fun. I suppose once I start to get to the details, it's more the fact that I don't know, because the brushes are, that's interesting, because the brushes are slightly different to what I'm used to. So I struggle a little bit to get the refinements at the moment, just a little bit different from something like Blender. So getting used to what that brush is actually going to do and what you expect it to do can be slightly different. It's sort of working. The front of the face is sticking out a bit too much. Get the grab brush, move that up. Let's move that back. And you can turn and twist like this as well. It's lovely. It looks quite funny there. It's sort of like a funny, funny lips there. Maybe a little bit more of a chin coming down. Okay, so I've got the sort of basic sculpt just here, which I'm quite enjoying. It looks nothing like my reference. I'm not sure why I brought the reference into it. I've really gone off script. Okay, let's experiment some more brushes. We've got the tentacle brush here. It's obviously going to be good for some horns coming out. What sort of size? And this is much like the snake hook. Oh, that is smooth though. It's nice. Interesting thing with the Blender snake hook, it sort of gets smaller as you pull it out, but this doesn't seem to do that unless you sort of grab the end where there's a small section, if that makes sense. And that's looking a bit wobbly. Let's use the inflate brush. There we go. It's got all the main brushes that you need, so I can inflate this and then smooth out, and it sort of smooths it out into what looks like a horn. That's great. And then let's get the grab brush and move that around. Now there is an option where I can, what is it, the ray cast, I think it is, where I can just get this section and it won't get this section down here. I like the thinking, because they obviously understand what it's like to sculpt. You know, you're trying to get this bit and it's getting this bit and so forth. I think the raycast, I'm pretty sure and this front face is there as well, and it's connected as well. Oh, it could be connected that I'm thinking of. Let's move out here. So nice and big with my brush, and then, oh, it's because the brush is covering it. But you can see I'm not getting that bit and I'm not getting the bit above it. So the connected one is the one I was thinking of. The raycast must be exactly in front of, so maybe that will do other side as well or something. But anyway, there's some horns. Like I say, I'm still a little bit new to this. There's a lot to it and more than I can show you in just this little exercise. A bit of crease in here. That's the thing. The crease has a fair bit of pinch to it, which you can, I think, turn off. Where is it? Build up height. I think that's where the way it sort of squeezes in the mesh to where your brush is. But it's all a case of getting used to it, I suppose, isn't it? Smooth that out. There we go. Some horns there look quite interesting. Let's have some little horns now. Let's get the tentacle brush and just bring those out. Oh, yes. Let's get some small ones here. Maybe small ones in the middle there as well. So just sort of select the end to make it smaller. So you do a bit, then select the end and do another bit. Fun looking piece. Let's do something different, actually. Let's go a little bit crazy. There's a stamp tool. I love this stamp tool. I've been playing with this a bit. So you can just get, I don't know, objects and stamp them in. So like a cube here. Let's make it a bit smaller. And I can just stamp them on there, and then I can smooth them out. I like that. You can quickly build up a shape quite easily. So let's make this a bit bigger and put in a body, let's say. So let's bring it up to about here. Actually, I'll use the sphere for this. Let's bring it quite big and just bring in a body and smooth it out, smooth it out. I can just put another sphere in there if I need to, and it's got a body. A fair bit to do there, but I think you get the idea. This guy needs some arms there now. Now I'm starting to do a whole character. Oh, it's probably because I've got the ray cast and the connected on it. I probably did something stupid there. Not so sure about this body. I suppose I can just make it a little bit more interesting because it's a creature, a weird beast. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. That's why it's good fun to do a beast, because you can just go crazy and not worry too much about anatomy. You have to do a little bit of anatomy, otherwise the body doesn't quite make sense. Again, the speed at which you can do things is such fun. Let's get back to the stamp, actually. The stamp is so much fun. Let's use a cylinder for the arm. So there's an arm there, and it's not connected very well, so I can just stamp in another bit. That's the great thing about the stamp. You can build up the muscles like this if you want to. Maybe you can have a bit more of a bicep here. That's probably too much. Hopefully you get the idea. Let's get the smooth brush and smooth that out. And we've already got our shape. I mean, how cool is that? That's what I mean about the intuitiveness of this. It does really hold its own in that sense, and it makes it quite a joyful experience. It just speeds everything up so much. It's great fun. You can see though that I'm still learning and still getting the coordination really as well of which button does what and quickly jumping between each. So it's not simple for me still. I'm only, like I say, a few hours in, but you can sort of see how far I've got with this character in just a small amount of time. Obviously, it's not, like I say, particularly anatomically correct, but you can sort of see what's going on. And I'm not really changing the brushes enough. I probably need to quickly nip to the pinch brush and to draw the shapes out a little bit better. Let's do that. Let's do that. The crease brush in here would make sense, wouldn't it? Oh, now what have I done there? I've done something stupid because I've pulled, that's probably just me earlier. Pull this back. Now this is where I need the connected. Let's try that. Oh, there you go. How cool is that? I know Blender has those sort of features, but they are just awkward to get to quickly. And that was nice and easy and quick. It was all in my menus, which was really obvious. It makes it so much easier, doesn't it? So if I wanted to get another object in here, it's really easy. I can just jump to the pull down. Actually, that's the menu, that one there. And then go to create object and bring in a sphere for the eye, let's say. Let's move around a little bit, bring this down and put it into, actually I want to make it quite small, probably around there. Oh, now I'm moving the eye around. I don't want to do that. I want to leave it there. So let's undo that. The other thing I'm not sure how to do is mirror that to the other side. So for now, I'll just create another one. It should hopefully be the same size. Create object, sphere. Yeah, that looks about the same size. Pop that in there. There we go. Let's go back onto our main object, back to sculpt, and then I can come in and start thinking about doing some eyelids. That's the difference between this and Blender, I would say. You can't really say that you can do much sculpting after an hour into the program, which is why I'm really enjoying myself here, because it really didn't take long to get to grips with this. You can see my eyeballs are in a different place, but now I can go back to the other one, select that and move it in slightly. There we go. Okay, let's go back to our main shape then, and back to the sculpting and have a look at some of the other options. If I use the menu button on my right stick, you've got lots of options in here. Obviously things like matte caps and stuff, so you can have different looks on your beast or whatever you've got. That works quite well, doesn't it? Fun stuff. Or we can, let's just go back to our PBR based one. That looks all right. Was it that one? Woo! Yeah, it's that one. We've also got just basic transform things, but you need to be in scene mode for that. That's the one. And then I can do some basic movement and so forth there. Rotation, that's all fine, what you'd expect. Multi-resolution, so you can actually add a multi-resolution modifier to this. So I can add a level. Let's just go back to the sculpting. And now if I go to the draw brush, the detail level is that much finer, and I can create some interesting rib muscles here and go much more detailed with these things. Neck muscle across there, smooth it out. But obviously it's much finer, so the smoothing out, you can sort of see that it's not smoothing out anywhere near as much because the detail level is up to, well, it's telling you the size. Or is it? No, it's telling you the polygon count, so 500,000 there. Let's see how far it goes. Let's save my work first. Okay, let's add another subdivision then. So we're up to 1.6 million, which is quite high. I'm a little bit nervous, but let's try it. Okay, the next one. Oh, it did. It did it. And we're at 6.5 million. Let's see how it is to sculpt. Let's smooth this out. It's not smoothing at all because it's so high poly. But let's use the clay brush and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's nice and responsive. It's good. I suppose if I go higher than this, we'll be looking at 30 million. Let's see what happens if let's see how far we can take this. Disappeared. Still working. Still working. It does say 26 million and it's building it. Wow. Okay. That's pretty impressive. Let's see if oh no, look, I can move around it. Let's try and sculpt. It's lagging just a tiny bit. Wow. At 26 million. Flipping heck. I wasn't expecting that from VR sculpting. Look at this. I don't know whether it's recording. It's probably lagging when they record, but yeah, it's lagging a bit now. Okay, so 26 million, probably pushing it a bit far, but you don't really need 26 million. It probably makes sense in many ways that you do the really fine detail on the computer because it's easier to have a bit more control with the pen at that stage, I imagine, anyway. Delete higher levels. There we go. Delete higher. Oh, that's really clever. And that did it really quickly. And let's go back to level 1 and smooth this out. Right, so the other thing we can use are alpha brushes. So if I go to standard here, into the brush, you've got alpha. And we can, let's see what the reptile skin looks like. Yeah, what have I done wrong? Okay, so we do want to, oh, I'm at level 1. That is why it's not doing anything in Plonker Ground. Let's go to level 3. There you go, you can see that working. Level 3 is a little bit low though, so let's smooth that out. I'm going to turn the smooth brush up. Can I turn the sprint? There we go. And the smooth brush, smooth that out. Level 3, yep. So let's go back to the standard brush. Level 4, there we go. Let's try that. There we go. I'll undo those though. And let's zoom in a bit and see what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty cool, really, isn't it? Let's try some dots. Make my brush a bit bigger. Some speckled dots around the place. I'm probably not using it very well. I need to press and then you can move it around and then let go. That's what I need to be doing. Bring this down and put some spots on his face around here. I do seem to have lost the eyeballs though. That seems to be up there. Not sure what's happened with my eyes and the eyeballs. Looks like when I was doing the I scaled it, didn't I? At some point I've scaled this, and its head's all squished. Well, you can tell that I don't know what I'm doing quite yet, but hopefully from this you can get the idea of how much fun this can be. You can either have a multi-resolution, or I think you can have a certain subdivision, like dynamic topology, I think is down here. We have more topology in one area than another. Topology transform, we can flip and mirror and things, but again, you have to be in scene mode for that, and we can flip or mirror and so forth. So you've got those options. And also in our menu, lastly, we've got export options, and we've got OBJ, STL, GLB, and FBX. So we can export our beautiful sculpt. That's what I've done. I've moved it out of the alignment of the eyes. Look at that, what a plonker. Because I scaled it whilst I was in move mode. So we can take our wonderful model here and we can place it into Blender and maybe finish off aspects, do a bit of rendering. There are painting options within this program, and you can easily put colors on like so and change the pressure. Again, it does feel quite nice. Feels like a spray can, and I think it's got, again, alpha options, so I can paint on in terms of weird sort of bumps like so. So let's try the spray. Let's see what that looks like. I can spray on dots just there. With the alphas, you can bring in your own alphas, so I can pick them from my collection. But the one thing I would like to see is the picker. I'd like to have an option of a button that I could press, so I don't have to keep going to the mesh and back to the menu for picking colors. That's the one thing that I think needs a little bit of improvement there. And it wouldn't take much to map one of these buttons, which it probably is. I probably just don't know where it is. Couldn't find that in the options or the menus. So I really do love this piece of software, and it's very intuitive, easy to use, and makes sculpting really fun. I would thoroughly recommend this for beginners. For me, will it replace Blender? Well, yes and no. I can see myself doing the base sculpts with this, but perhaps for the more detailed stuff, I'll be taking that into Blender, and of course to rig and animate my characters as well. The great thing is you can do exactly that because you can export your finished sculpts into Blender, so using both makes a lot of sense to me. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.